This right here is the perfect system to accomplish anything. And it has nothing to do with fancy apps or complicated frameworks. So at the top, you start with a broad overview of your objectives, and then you want to break it down into smaller, manageable metrics. And to the left, you list all the reasons why each step is important to you. And then after that, you have one of the most effective yet underrated thing you can do is to have a system to guide your action toward the goal you're trying to achieve. For example, Ray Dalio has his principle, Stephen Covey has some habit of highly effective people, and David Allen has a system to get things done. If you look at history of mankind, the most successful people amongst us, they have their own system to achieve their own goals. In this video, I will teach you a simple 3-part system to manage your life. No, it doesn't really involve you learning crazy Notion template or whatever productivity tools that is trendy. It basically just revolves around this. This is just a notebook. Everybody's got one. You can do it with A4 paper. The point is, it's not about the quality of paper, but how you use it. So let's get started. So over the years, I've been taking a lot of journal. There's a lot of them. This much. I use journaling to document rather than to manage any projects. But lately, I've been thinking that journaling may be a good way to manage your life and achieve anything that you want. Nowadays, we have a lot of digital tools such as Notion, Todoist, you name it. There's a million other apps flashing on your phone, distracting you from the things you're supposed to do. Honestly, I think we can all use a little bit less screen time. With that said, where does this system come from? Well, I was a management consultant, and throughout my consulting career, I have met a lot of high-performing people who seems to be just super organized. They never forget the thing, they're always on track of their projects, and most importantly, they always get things done. I'll be honest, I was not one of those consultants. So a few years back, like a good new associate at the firm, I asked one of the most senior people at the firm, hey, why you guys are so productive? How did you manage your work so efficiently?
How did you manage it?
Well, I didn't ask like that, but that's beside the point. What's important was his answer. He slowly reached in his bag and with a little bit smirk on his face, he pulled out a little, I mean like a tiny notebook. And he basically showed me the system. And here is something very similar, right? A tiny little notebook. As he was flipping through the page and explaining it to me, as things pop up during the day, he would write them down in simple, clear English and make sure that absolutely put every single thing down. Very precise, very short bullet points. Like his work to do's or his things he finds useful, or sometimes an inspirational quotes. Now, in the beginning, this feels like a stupid way of making a to-do list, right? But trust me, it gets better. And at the end of the day, he would mark it down with some special symbols. If something needs to be done at the end of the day, he would put on a circle, something like that. An urgent task requires quick attention, and he would just go and handle it right away. He only jot down something if there's a follow-up. He will also jot down a lot of random stuff, a lot of his thoughts, non-urgent items, and for those, heart symbol, I think something like that. Something like this. You can use whatever you like, you get the point. So that's very simple, right? At the end of the day, before he checked out of the office, he will sit down in the cafe and do a quick review to make sure everything is in order. If there's anything left unchecked, he will make sure he revisit every single one of this bullet before leaving the office. And the most interesting part, he will pull another notebook out, and then he showed me how these two works together and basically the whole system of how he managed his life. Imagine you have something to achieve in life, anything. Maybe you want to write a book or create a YouTube channel, any goal at all. So there's always a process or a workflow, whatever you want to call it. In case if you want to create a business, it can be a supply chain, right? And if you're Elon Musk, you can, I guess, call it a master plan. The point is, if you're doing any thinking bit, trying to achieve anything, the first step is always about strategizing and coming up with the right step. And this bigger notebook is your blueprint. And this little one is what he called a capture system. The idea is that you take your thing received from the word and put it in these little ones. Information you heard, gather them all together in this tiny notebook in a very chaotic kind of way. These chaotic bits and pieces, they will eventually come all together and got linked in this bigger notebook that he has. And later, he will find time and revisit this little one and put the pieces together in this blueprint so he can visualize it a little bit better, right? Track your progress and make sure you stick to the plan as you execute them. It's a very simple 3-part system. First, you have the capture with a little notebook, and you internalize and strategize with a bigger notebook once you have that, and then you go on and create and execute. Simple, right? But that's where you'll be wrong, and let me tell you why. If you're familiar with David Allen's Getting Things Done, you will recognize his advice. Your brain is for having ideas, not holding them. This underscores a common human tendency to try and remember everything. To make things worse, we are in a digital age. Our brain takes in a lot more information every day compared to 10 years ago. According to a study by University of California, the average person exposed to about 34 gigabytes of information on a daily basis. This much information overloads our brain and leads to impaired decision-making and stress. Can you realistically capture everything, even with the help of digital tools? Think of the amount of things that you have to scroll every day on your cell phone, and the amount of text messages you have to handle? Probably not. So my point is, capture is nothing without clarity and focus. That's what I'm about to talk about next. You want to be very intentional, focused on one thing at a time. If you're working on writing a book, just carry one notebook, and its whole purpose is about writing books. And that's it. Remember the partner at the consulting firm? His entire workday is all about talking to the clients about ongoing projects, potential projects, direction he wants to give on certain projects. So even if it seems like he's capturing everything, they are all related to his projects. So in other words, he is very focused. So if you're doodling your dog next to your next video idea, then you're doing this all wrong. The other benefit of using a capture system is that they give your mind permission to focus on other tasks, effectively clearing your mind and allow your brain to comfortably forget about something useful and move on to other tasks in your life. It's all about getting this mess sorted in our head so we can think clearly and get things done. So potentially, if you're working on multiple projects, what I suggest is that you get just many notebooks. I mean, they're small, they're tiny, and I don't see the harm of carrying multiple one of this, but it makes organizing things a lot more easier. And you want to periodically clean things up. I do this every single day. I have a half of the page focusing only my chores, like the little things in life that I have to do, and I check them out at the end of the day. And on other part, I will actively put down learning or conversation or interesting bits and pieces happening in life related to my ongoing project. I'll put it on the left part. And it's very simple, very effective. It takes all the organizing on a digital app out of the way and just simply write things down. And I honestly think this is better for remembering stuff. So basically, all your captures needs to have a place to park on your big blueprints. Consider the blueprint to be a series of baskets. Each represent an area you need to work on, and the system's job is to help you and put the right information, aka your captures, into the corresponding baskets. Take Tim Ferriss, for example, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek. He is known for his ability to deconstruct complicated skills and projects into simple, manageable steps. He learned Japanese by breaking down the learning process into effective modules, focusing on the high-frequency conversations, and it took him only 11 months to completely master the language. He also applied similar system to learning dancing, cooking, and even business management. His success lies in his methodical approach to breaking things down and into achievable tasks. And that's what the blueprints is about. Why don't I show you in writing? So there are two ways to go about it. And if you have a smaller notebook, you can basically write this down and draw a little table. Alternatively, if you can just take this big board and pretend that this is a notebook that you can take anywhere with you. I prefer this one because you can see everything that you put down in a given month. I like to have all I needed to do consolidated in just one page, and I'll hang this page on the wall so I know what I'm supposed to do. So if you're familiar with Notion, it also has a Kanban system. You can achieve similar effect, but nothing beats the feeling of writing things down on paper. I'm still a firm believer that even nowadays, there's not a single technology that quite replicate the feeling of writing things on paper. So let's start it by breaking this down, shall we? When it comes to internalize a bunch of ideas, focus on your intention first. Let's put out our tiny notebook aside. Let's look at the bigger one together. Now you're working on the bigger system. I want you to write down 3 things from the top. What is the thing that you want to do? How you measure the success? This ensures you to have the target in mind when trying to achieve anything. For example, for me, my goal is to create a YouTube channel and got him monetized in about 3 months. So first I'll write down my goal to get YouTube channel monetized. And it should be specific, measurable, and time-bound. For example, it should be something like getting monetized on YouTube translates to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. But that's not very specific. That's only the end goal. That's only the end metrics, right? I need to make 12 videos in about 2 months, which means 1 video every 5 days. And each video will generate 100 views per day, and each view will get me 0.05 average view per hour. That would roughly get me over the 4,000 hour watch time. I'm not gonna dive too much into the math part, but just know that any goal can be quantified. If you can quantify your goal, and it's a lot easier to break it down into smaller steps. Breaking down into smaller steps is actually quite useful for our next exercise. And second, right beside your target, I want you to write down why do you want to do it. It eliminates a lot of wasted potential effort that may distract you from doing the right thing. For example, my why would be to build a channel to help people to get rich. Because too many financial YouTubers are doing this to get views. especially stock analysis videos. People want to hear good things about the stock. That's why they are searching for it, right? That's where the volume is at. So to get views, you would have to make a lot of clicky baity kind of video like, oh, this changes everything. XYZ stock is gonna explode by before the earning, etc., right? Just no. I know how it works because my best videos benefit from things like this. And through this exercise, I decided that I don't want to be that kind of a channel. I want to help people to get rich the realistic kind of way, even if that means less view and slower growth. And really, that's my why, to help people. And then I want you to take a big ruler and draw a line. This vast space is where we extract our ideas from our thought capturing notebook. Here's a part 3. Think very carefully about what's the most reasonable step you can take to achieve this goal. And if you're doing this on a big paper like I do, you can draw a column to separate each steps. But most likely you have another notebook, right? So what I suggest you is divide the entirety of the notebook into sections. For example, if the thing that you want to achieve has like 4 steps, I want you to take the entirety of a notebook and just divide it into 4 parts. So it will be something like that, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty. I suggest you to divide the entire notebook into however many sections. Label them with one of these sticky notes. And on each section's first page, write down the little things you like to achieve. This is your blueprint for arranging the necessary steps to achieve your goals. You capture the idea, and then it's your chance to organize and prioritize them, mapping out how this concept turns into reality. And again, this is a process for me. It goes something like this. I start with the improvement section. This is where, in general, where I can improve on what my video making system is, like studio renovation or getting better light, or sometimes I find an interesting YouTube channel I can model myself after. And the second column, I'll put down anything related to brainstorming. This is where I jot down any interesting idea where I can make a video on. Very rough, very unrefined, and typically just throwing things in there to see what I can make to the next stage. So it will be, what would I do to make my brainstorm better? So a couple examples come to mind, right? So I need to learn speed reading. I need a better way to capture video ideas. I need a better sense of evaluating which video idea will go viral, that kind of thing. So that will all go to the brainstorming section. And after brainstorming it, the next information section is research. This is anything that is related to how do you find the right video idea to make, any good packaging of the video, title and thumbnail, that kind of thing. For example, for research, I need a system to find idea that is inspirational. For example, how do you read through Twitter feed? How do you read an article and figure out if this is a video worthy idea? So throughout this process, I was constantly looking back and forth between my little capturing system and the whole big blueprints. Get inspiration until the whole sheet is populated. It has plenty of stuff to do every step of the way. And by the end of this exercise, I know exactly what I need to do, why do I need to do it, and how I can churn out this content with the standard I have envisioned. So I have tried this system for a few weeks now. At first, I really thought this old school pen and paper would be totally out of place in 2024. But to my surprise, no, it actually wasn't. There is something really freeing about jotting things down on a notebook. To illustrate something, you can really do whatever you want. You can doodle, you can make a chart, you can scribble, whatever you need. Only your imagination is the limit. Pen and paper offer a timeless simplicity that digital tools can never quite replicate. I will spend a lot of times carefully looking at the stuff on it and executing every single bit down to a T. I refine my skill in each category and have really made some amazing progress. But this simple system, it really could be how anyone can accomplish anything. So despite the fact that this has been done before, I still think that if you just want to kickstart a project and you don't want anything complicated, and it's perfect for average folk like you and me. It is easy, it is quick, it very cleanly sorted out your brain without needing you to learn yet another program. At least for me, it just worked. And then there's a final step, taking action and actually executing the stuff we laid out in our blueprint. But there's just one problem with that. Unfortunately for all of us, no system is going to solve that for you. You put in the work, you get better, and you keep going. A system points a way, and you take the walk. Hi, thank you for watching. I know a lot of you guys are here because of the stock analysis video. I still do make them from time to time, but I hope you also enjoy this kind of video that I created. They are related to money and success in general. It probably doesn't get enough views because I'm still learning my way when it comes to video making and storytelling. But like everything else in life, this is a journey, and I'll be honored if you can subscribe and make this journey with me. Thank you, my friend, for sticking to the end. I'll see you next time.